Okie dokie, boys and girls. So, today we have a skill workout. Now, that might be your first time for this bulk. Yes, I train skills a lot, but I usually just treat the skills as like a push day or a pull day. Those are just happen to be the exercises that I use to do my push workouts and my pull workouts. But I don't treat them as skill workouts necessarily because in a skill workout, you often avoid going to the max right from the start so that you can acquire more volume. While if you go for hypertrophy and you want to build a bit more muscle, which was for me the case, you usually end up maxing out more or having more intense sets and less of them. And both ways have their advantages, of course. If you go to your max often, you get more hypertrophy. If you lose skills, well, you become stronger. And by becoming stronger, in the end, you'll also build a bit more muscle, but it's gonna take a longer while. But for me, at the moment, 73.5 kilos, I've already built quite some muscle. And basically, right now, I just want to focus on getting my planche pull, getting strong so that I can get 20 seconds of planche. Now, there's two ways to approach a skill workout, in my opinion, and you can mix them as well. But first, you have the skill workout where you pick new skills and you just try new stuff that you weren't able to do before, right? The attempting. You try to do more and more difficult stuff. And then also, the second way you can approach your skill workout is you take things that you're already able to do, for example, a planche push-up, and you try to build volume with it. So let's say that right now you're doing 2 to 3 advanced tuck planche push-ups. You try to do 4, you try to do 5. You try to build your total volume on those exercises. And for the planche, I want to build endurance. And if you get stronger and you try more difficult things, of course you're going to get a tiny bit of endurance as well. But what's really going to get you that endurance to hold planche for longer is that second option where you take easier exercises and you do them for longer. You do longer sets, you do more sets. That's going to get you the endurance. So that's what I'm going to do today for planche. As for front lever, in the previous front lever training after the max hold, I tried a straight arm touch and I basically failed, which I am my day was my disappointment was immeasurable and my day was ruined, right? That's how they say it. And basically I want to get a bit of a revenge on that today. So I'll probably start off with some straight arm touches today on the front lever and then play around with some more touch sets, some pull-up sets, maybe even some presses, but just playing around, right? That's kind of the point of this skill training. So we'll see what happens. Let's go. Phew, my back feels destroyed. Okay, let's check what this destroyed back can do. Was a little bit bitter. Okay, so I'm having a lot of fun out there. sweating already because it's quite hot. But basically, couple sets in, and I'm getting tired. I don't have a lot of work capacity in the skills right now, which could be an indicator as to why my endurance in one set is low as well, right? But basically, yesterday I did a light planche workout, and today I'm feeling it. I feel less light. I feel a bit stiff. I feel a bit sore. So even though I'm able to do planche, I feel like it takes more out of me than it did yesterday, which is to say that I'm not fully recovered, right? Because my work capacity is low. And work capacity is basically, well, your capacity to work, right? Your capacity to handle volume and recover from it, most importantly. And well, the way you build that is to just do it over and over and over again. I mean, if you want to get good at something, you have to train that specific something. If you want to train your work capacity, you have to work more. You have to do more volume. You have to build your volume. Of course, allowing your body to recover as well. But today I'll switch over to some stellar planche, do some more volume, and play around in the front lever a little bit. Maybe some non-false grip stuff. The bars are kind of slippery, so I don't know how that will go. But basically having some more volume, some more sets, 3 to 5 sets of planche and front lever each. Not go to my max too much, hopefully, but maybe I will. I don't know. We'll see. Depends on how I feel like it. And then basically tomorrow is going to be a leg day, so my upper body will be allowed a little bit of rest. After which I'll switch back to some planche and front lever work. And that's basically the process. You repeat that process. You build some capacity, or you do some volume work, and then you take a bit of rest, and then you do it again, but maybe a little bit more, and then you rest and you do it again and again and again. That's basically anything, right? If you want to unlock a skill, or you want to just be able to do more of one skill, that's basically the process. You try, you rest, you try again. That's how it goes. So I'm gonna continue with some, well, not basic sets, but like finisher-ish sets. A bit longer, bit lower intensity, not straight arm touch, not full planche, but rather stellar planche and normal touch, right? And then finish the workout like that, or not finish it. There's something afterwards that's very important, but the skill portion, right? Anyway, I'm gonna keep enjoying this. It's been a while, so I'm gonna get back outside and do my thing. A handstand will forever be more difficult than a planche. Alright, finisher sits. I'm gonna only do planche, but basically, actually, should I only do planche? No, let's just fucking superset. I'm gonna do 2 push-ups and 2 pull-ups first, and then the next set 4, then 6, and basically until it's not possible anymore. You shall not pass before doing any stretching. I mean, guys, these skills, you have to be careful because when you do a heavy skill workout, it's easy, to feel that your shoulders are tired, your lats are tired, any muscle in your body, basically in your upper body, being tired. That's easy to feel. But what you don't feel as much is the ligaments and the tendons. Usually, when you feel that your ligaments and tendons are tired and tender, it's already too late. You're already on your way to a small injury. So you want to stay ahead of the game. You want to keep taking care of your body. Do forearm accessories. Do some stretching. Right. I got this stretch with the pole from Valentin Kalis. He's one of the strongest plancher, if not the strongest plancher in the world at the moment, and he has been for many, many years. And he does these stretches as well. He basically takes care of his forearms. He makes them as strong as possible, as flexible as possible, and that's one way of his to prevent injury. And I think it's entirely valid to do that. It makes sense because everything in the planche goes through your forearm, right? Your hands make contact with the bar, and then the power transfers through your forearm. So I like to just, even if they don't feel bad, right? They didn't feel bad after this training. I like to just stretch them or do some accessories. If you've been watching the channel, you've seen the hammer lifts. I like to do those often as well. Today was a bit of a heavier workout, so I already feel like my muscles are tired. I don't want to bash them even more, but just stretching is going to be beneficial nonetheless. And when I have a lighter workout, and also just once in a while, I just have to do it. I do those hammer lifts to make my forearm strong because a strong muscle is not going to get injured as easily as possible. Same for the tendons. If you do these forearm accessories, not only your muscles are going to get stronger, but your tendons as well. And that's what you really want to have. You don't want to, do the planche and the front lever and then feel pain in your forearms. That's not healthy. You want to stay ahead of that. And that's why, when you finish a skill workout, but especially a heavy skill workout, do some stretching in between when you're recovering, in between your workouts, the days that you have a rest day, take maybe one more rest day and do some forearm accessories instead, just to stay ahead. Because, like I said, the last thing you want is a tendon injury. Those take way longer than a muscle injury, just like a small, like stiffness in your muscle that heals in a couple of days. But a tendon being tender, you're going to be out for a week or something. So stay ahead of that. That's all I'm going to say. But anyway, today was a bit of a heavier skill workout. Tomorrow I'm not going to do another push-pull workout. I'm just going to do some legs. And maybe even the day after, I'll see. Because I did quite a lot in the saddle planche. If you watched yesterday's video, I mentioned that you want to kind of stay in the progression that you want to get good at. If like when you're aiming for volume, right? If you want to get good at the full planche, well, do the full planche. And if you want to get good at saddle planche, do the saddle planche, and so on, right? But if you want to up your frequency, you cannot go all out balls to the wall on intensity and volume as well. So you want to kind of hold back a little bit, prevent yourself from dropping down in the progressions and maxing out there as well, because then you're not going to be able to train again the next day or the day after, right? So in my case, yesterday I held back a little bit, not enough, because today I felt more tired than yesterday, but still I held back. And then today I know that I'm not going to be training planche for 1 or 2 days, so I was able to go a little bit harder, I did do straddle planche. I did go quite hard on that lower progression. So that's kind of the finisher sets, you know. And when you do those finisher sets, those are the ones where you go more to your max. Those are the ones that take the juice out of your body, so to speak, the energy out of your body. That's what's gonna take it. That's what's gonna make your body have to recover more. You know, you have a higher peak in your training when it comes to performance, and then your body crashes down a little bit more. You have to take a couple days more to train. So when will I train planche again? Either Tuesday or Wednesday or even Thursday. Nonetheless, you know, I have to adapt now because I've done more volume than I'm used to be honest, right? In these 2 days, now I have to recover and adapt so that I can repeat it and get used to it more and more and more. Get used to that volume more and more so that I feel lighter in the planche, able to get to those 20 seconds of hold. But that's it for today's training. I hope you enjoyed because I sure did. And yeah, that's it. I'm gonna have a shower, have some breakfast, and see you tomorrow for a leg workout.